Welcome everyone to another edition of the Cultures for Health podcast. At Cultures for Health, we believe that anyone on any diet and at any skill level can make and enjoy the benefits of traditional fermented foods. Through our product offering, recipes, tutorials, and how-to videos, we'll give you the tools you need to nourish your family and live healthily. I am Wendy, your host for today, and in today's episode, we're going to discuss everything you always wanted to know about kombucha but were too afraid to ask. This will include an overview of kombucha, how to make it yourself at home and why you should, how to flavor it, more ways to use it, and the health benefits that are possible from including kombucha in your everyday life. You can find all of this information and more at our website, culturesforhealth.com. Let's get started by first explaining for all of our first-time listeners and those who may be new to kombucha, what kombucha actually is. So what is kombucha? Kombucha is an ancient fermented tonic made from sweetened tea. Once cultured, this effervescent beverage contains a host of beneficial bacteria, yeasts, and acids imparted to it by its mother's culture, often referred to as a Scoby. Kombucha has a long history of consumption in Asia and Europe, but in recent years it has gone somewhat mainstream. Many consume kombucha now for the many health and probiotic benefits it is touted for. Others simply enjoy the tangy, fizzy flavor of this fermented beverage. So, what transforms plain, sweet tea into an effervescent probiotic drink? The process of making kombucha all begins with a Scoby. Now let's dive deeper into what a Scoby actually is. A kombucha Scoby is one of 5 ingredients that go into brewing kombucha tea. Scoby stands for Symbiotic Colony of Bacteria and Yeast. Symbiotic means that the bacteria and yeast strains live together in a complex, mutually supportive community, supporting and depending on each other. You may hear a Scoby referred to as a mushroom because it resembles the smooth, thick body of a mushroom. The pancake-shaped disc is somewhat slimy and gelatinous in feeling. Not all kombucha Scobies contain the exact same strains of bacteria and yeast, but they generally all act in a similar way to create kombucha tea. One thing all kombucha Scobies have in common is that they are self-perpetuating culture. This means the Scoby multiplies itself through the process of creating kombucha. Now let's move on to talk about how kombucha is made. Making kombucha is a simple process using very few ingredients, but there is a complex biological process happening to create that delicious beverage. We won't dive too deeply into details, but understanding some basic principles will help take the mystery out of what is a very simple process. Kombucha is made through a symbiotic relationship. The Scoby itself is a symbiotic culture in which bacteria and yeast coexist in harmony. Because Scoby is a living entity, it needs food and a proper environment to thrive. A kombucha Scoby's food source is sweetened black tea. When you place a Scoby into a prepared tea, it begins to consume the sugars and form another Scoby, often referred to as a baby. The other symbiotic relationship therefore exists between the Scoby and the sweet tea. The Scoby needs the tea to survive, and kombucha cannot be made without the Scoby. This process can take as little as a week if it is warmer, and up to a month in cooler temperatures. The byproducts of this process are organic acids, a multiplication of the bacteria and yeast within the sweetened tea, carbon dioxide, which is how kombucha becomes carbonated, a trace of alcohol, and B vitamins. So what's in a finished kombucha? Well, probiotics, bacteria, and yeast. The specific bacteria and yeast strains in the kombucha are what make it act the way it does, and what produce the fizz and flavor of kombucha. Not all kombucha cultures will contain the exact same strains, but there are some that have been recorded in studies. And I'm going to let you refer to our website to see what those are, because they are some pretty big names, and I don't think you want to sit here and listen to me try to pronounce them for you. Kombucha also contains a variety of other nutrients, particularly various acids and esters that give the drink its characteristic tang and fizz. Included in these components is gluconic acid, which is the primary difference between the makeup of kombucha and the makeup of apple cider vinegar. The actual bacteria, sugar, and acid content of kombucha depend on many factors, including the initial culture, the type of tea used, the type of sugar used, the strength of the tea, the type of water, the brewing time, the culturing temperature, and many more. due to the nature of kombucha, it is not possible to state an exact microbial composition for kombucha. But while different Scobies may vary in their exact makeup, what is common to all kombuchas is gluconic acid, acetic acid, and fructose. So why should you brew kombucha tea at home versus going to the store and just buying it? Brewing kombucha at home has many advantages. For one, home brewing practices are not regulated. This is particularly important for a raw fermented beverage such as kombucha. The kombucha brewing process does not simply stop once the kombucha is removed from the original Scoby. It continues to produce the bacteria, yeasts, acids, and trace amounts of alcohol even after refrigeration. So when you brew at home, you can brew with traditional practices with no worry over regulations of the ever-changing final product. Home brewing also presents the advantage of controlling the ingredients. You can choose things like the sugar and tea you prefer based on your preference for quality and cost. Likewise, you can control the final sugar content by choosing to brew longer for a lower sugar beverage. Home brewing is also more economical. While commercial kombucha can run anywhere from $3 to $5 per pint, homebrewed kombucha costs less than 50 cents per bottle on average. Homebrewing kombucha is not simply a means of creating delicious fermented beverages. For some, it is a hobby. Like other DIY projects, it allows for creativity in flavoring the kombucha for a second fermentation. More than that, it allows you to dabble in the art of fermentation. With every batch of kombucha, you can pass that culture on to a friend or family member or teach your own children the practice of fermentation. So, what do you need before you begin brewing kombucha? To get started brewing at home, you will need a kombucha tea starter culture, also known as a Scoby, mother, or mushroom, plus some ingredients and equipment. So how do you obtain or make a kombucha Scoby? Well, number one, you could purchase a Scoby. Cultures for Health sells kombucha tea starter cultures, Scobies, on their own or as part of their kombucha tea starter kit. These starter cultures are shipped in a dehydrated state, and you have the benefit of knowing that they have been pathogen tested for your safety. We also include complete instructions for activating and making kombucha fermented tea at home with the starter culture. Plus, you'll have access to a library of kombucha how-to videos. If you have purchased a dehydrated kombucha tea starter culture, please visit our video on activating a dehydrated kombucha Scoby to get started. After activating our dehydrated Scoby, please follow the enclosed homemade kombucha instructions for making your first batch of kombucha. The instructions you'll find in this video and article are for making kombucha regularly, using a fully activated kombucha Scoby. Number two, you could always get a Scoby from an acquaintance. Anyone who is making kombucha tea usually has more than enough to share. Ask around or check for fermenting groups in your area. When you find a good source, ask for a Scoby and at least a half-cup starter tea, enough to make your first quart batch. When you are ready, let us help you make your first batch of delicious kombucha with our complete instructions and helpful how-to video. Number three, you could always grow a Scoby from kombucha tea. Many grocery stores now carry bottled kombucha tea. If you are up for a little experimenting and have a lot of patience, growing your own Scoby from a bottle of raw kombucha is another option. Did you know there are many ways to use kombucha besides just drinking it? Because a new culture is created with nearly every new batch of kombucha, it is easy to quickly become overrun with Scobies. If the Scoby hotel fills up, try these ideas for using the extras. Number one, share. The best way to use extra Scobies is to help others start their own kombucha brew. Number two, experiment. Try making a batch with a different sweetener, tea, or juice. Since the Scoby is extra, it can be discarded once the batch is finished culturing. Number three, add to a smoothie. Add a piece of Scoby to a smoothie or other blended food. Number four, make jerky. Marinate the Scoby in your favorite sauce for 24 hours before drying, if desired, for extra flavor. Lay Scobies flat on a piece of unbleached parchment paper and dry at 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit until they reach the consistency of jerky. Cover with a cloth to keep pests away. Consume as a treat or cut up and add to a salad, trail mix, etc. Number five, make candy. There are a few ways to make kombucha Scoby candy, and we have these provided on our website. Choose one that works for you using your sweetener of choice. Number six, substitute for raw fish and sushi. With a texture similar to squid, kombucha scobies can be cut up and eaten along with nori, rice, vegetables, etc. Number 7, use as a face mask. And I'm not talking about the one that goes over your mouth. Kombucha scobies can be used as a face mask, either whole or ground up. Number 8, use as a bandage. Scobies can be used as a live bandage or under a bandage. It will sting a little. The acidity is believed to help support healing. Number 9, feed to pets. Kombucha scobies can be fed to pets, either fresh or using the same process for making kombucha jerky to make a dried pet treat. Number 10, add to chicken feed. Many chicken owners find their chickens really appreciate a fresh SCOBY as a treat. Number 11, compost. Scobies can be added whole to the compost pile or ground up and added directly to the soil of plants. Number 12, make crafts. Kombucha scobies can be dried until they are stiff but flexible. Used as a replacement for leather and toy drums, shoes, or other craft items. Number 13, make June tea. June tea is another ancient fermented drink. You can make it at home by slowly converting a kombucha SCOBY to feed on green tea and honey. This experimentation works best with backup SCOBY, so trying out this delightful drink is another way to use your extra SCOBYs. You can check out more ideas for using kombucha, as well as our collection of kombucha recipes on our website. Okay, what about storing your kombucha SCOBY? Working with live cultures like a SCOBY means they need the proper care and attention. While SCOBYs can give you an endless supply of kombucha tea, there may be times when you need to take a break from brewing kombucha. You can learn more about how to do this in our online tutorial, How to Take a Break from Making Kombucha. Alright, so perhaps you're interested in learning ways how to influence the kombucha flavors. Once the kombucha has finished culturing, remove the SCOBY and enjoy it plain, or add flavoring. There is no limit to flavoring possibilities. For a fizzy fermented tea, try bottling it in a Grolsch-style bottle, or another tightly sealed container. You could always check out our video and article on flavoring and bottling kombucha for more information, or one of our kombucha flavor kits for flavoring ideas. There's no limit to the flavoring possibilities. Alright, so ways to influence kombucha flavors. Number 1, choose a different tea. The type of tea you use to brew kombucha can change the flavor of the finished kombucha even before flavoring agents are added. From black to white teas, each variety lends a different flavor to the finished beverage. Number 2, adjust the fermentation time. The longer a batch of kombucha ferments, the less sweet and more acidic the resulting liquid will be. We recommend fermenting the kombucha for at least 7 days and up to 30 days. After 7 days, begin tasting the brewing kombucha. Once the flavor reaches the desired sweetness or acidity, you can halt the process by pouring the finished kombucha into bottles or containers for flavoring or drinking plain. Number 3, add flavoring. Once the initial fermentation period is complete and the SCOBY has been removed, you can consume your kombucha as is or choose to add additional flavoring. If you decide to flavor your kombucha, you can either enjoy it immediately or ferment further for a more developed taste in the final product. From fruit and juices to herbs and spices, you can create a wide variety of flavored drinks. Our kombucha flavoring collection has 20 different flavors that you can choose from to create your own personalized fizzy sensation. Some further examples of how to flavor your kombucha is using fresh frozen or dried fruit, herbs, or flavor extracts such as almond or vanilla extract. And last, but definitely not least important, what are the possible benefits of kombucha? Here's a quick glance at the potential benefits that researchers continue to explore. Number 1, it may help boost metabolism. Kombucha isn't a miracle weight loss drink, but thanks to the EGCG found in the green tea of some types of kombucha, it may be a secret to a slightly faster metabolism. Number 2, it may aid constipation. As a potential source of probiotics, one purported health benefit of kombucha is its ability to balance good bacteria in the gut and relieve some gastrointestinal issues. Lactobacillus is a common type of probiotic, so it's plausible that kombucha may stabilize the digestive tract and help prevent infections and inflammation. And if so, drinking kombucha might improve irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel diseases, bloating, and constipation. Number 3, it may reduce inflammation. Chronic inflammation is involved in just about every health condition, including heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, allergies, and respiratory illnesses such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Kombucha isn't a first-line choice for treating any chronic disease, but the drink may complement your healthy diet, lifestyle choices, and medication regimen. That's because the teas used to make kombucha contain polyphenols, which are antioxidants that can lessen inflammation in the body. 4. May play a role in helping prevent cancer. There's also growing evidence that kombucha may assist with the prevention of certain types of cancer, although more research is needed. The claim is based on kombucha having antioxidant properties, which help rid the body of free radicals and other harmful substances that promote the growth of cancerous cells. Number 5, may help strengthen the immune system. The gut healthy benefits of kombucha may also provide an immune system boost. It's important to note that the digestive system and immune system are closely intertwined. The lining of the intestines creates antibodies that help protect the body. A huge portion of the immune system is found in the gut, more specifically about 70% according to a study. Thus, optimal gut health is the key to a strong immune system. The fermenting bacteria in kombucha can boost immunity thanks to the dose of good bacteria they provide. Number 6, may aid depression treatment. Symptoms of depression vary from person to person, but can include a general feeling of sadness and hopelessness. Depression can also cause problems including insomnia, poor concentration, and low energy. But kombucha might provide some relief, helping boost your mood by cranking up the production of feel-good hormones such as serotonin. Further, 95% of serotonin is produced in your gut, not your brain. So optimal gut health is important for mental health and mood regulation too. This is why it is always important to address gut health when boosting mood and fighting against depression. Number 7. Kombucha may boost cardiovascular health. According to a study published in April 2015, rats administered kombucha showed lower levels of LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, and higher levels of HDL, the good cholesterol. More research is needed, but future studies could similarly reveal that kombucha improves cholesterol levels in humans. Only time will tell. Number 8, kombucha may promote liver health. Similarly, kombucha may improve liver health due to its potential ability to detoxify the body. So over time, drinking the beverage may reduce how hard your liver has to work. Number 9, kombucha may play a role in lowering blood sugar. Drinking kombucha might also benefit those who are insulin resistant or have diabetes. The tree can inhibit amylase, a protein in the pancreas that's responsible for higher postprandial glucose levels. A protein in the pancreas that's responsible for higher after-meal glucose levels. And finally, number 10, kombucha can help maintain a healthy weight. Kombucha can be an alternative drink if you enjoy soda or juices, yet are looking for a beverage with fewer calories and less sugar to lose or maintain your weight. Remember, kombucha isn't sugar-free. Most of the sugar is fermented, but some remains in the final product. But even so, a typical drink may have only 6 to 8 grams per serving. All right, now that you know all about kombucha and exactly how to make it, it's time to gather everything you need, and the best place to do that is here with Cultures for Health. We have everything you need to start brewing kombucha at home today, including Scobies, tools, and our personal favorite, the Kombucha Starter Kit. The kit has everything you need to brew kombucha at home, all in a convenient, all-in-one package. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of the Cultures for Health podcast. I hope you have been able to learn everything you always wanted to know about kombucha, but were too afraid to ask. If there's any further questions that I have not addressed, you can always visit us at our website, culturesforhealth.com. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.